The days of sympathy for persons with disabilities is gradually sliding away, and empathy is taking its place, because persons with disabilities are actually very capable and can do everything that every other person is doing. And you know what we preach on Against All Odds is for persons with disabilities to also be included in policy making decisions. Like when you're taking decisions, let persons with disabilities be included from inception so that they can be walked around. And so recently in Lagos, the Interview Foundation actually took a bold step to organize a gender mainstreaming program for procurement services titled Gender on the Tender. And Adiola was on ground in Lagos to cover this event. Let's see how it happened. The program is Against All Odds on the Nigerian Television Authority, and my name is Doshima Pius Ikiravi. Don't go away. We will come with the full package of this event right to you. Don't go away.
This is Against All Odds.
In the heart of Lagos, Interval Foundation, amidst other stakeholders from across Nigeria and beyond, gathered for a pivotal conversation, one that could reshape economic inclusion in the country. Themed, Gender on the Tender, Women's Economic Empowerment. This key stakeholders consultative forum focused on awareness creation and advocacy for the upcoming national policy on affirmative procurement. A policy designed to open doors for women-owned and women-led businesses, youth, persons with disabilities, and the elderly.
Today's gathering is a statement that procurement is more than a technical process. It's a powerful economic instrument. It should be embedded in our national systems, and that women's economic empowerment must move from aspiration to implementation.
In a welcome address, the CEO of Interval Foundation for Women and Youth, Ms. Doris Okechukwu Mbadiwe, emphasized the urgent need to institutionalize economic access for marginalized groups through structured procurement reforms.
We have before us a historic opportunity to reshape access to public contracting, ensuring that the target groups, women-owned, women-led businesses, youth, people with disabilities, veterans, are active contributors within our economy, not peripheral participants. Public procurement represents a significant portion of the national expenditure, particularly in infrastructure. When we mainstream gender within procurement systems, we do more than promote equity. We stimulate growth, expand employment, strengthen competitiveness, and deepen accountability.
Goodwill messages poured from partners and advocates, each reinforcing the importance of collective responsibility in ensuring that no one is left behind.
Switzerland remains supportive of initiatives that promote inclusive economic development. Advancing gender-responsive procurement requires collaboration among government, private sectors, and development partners to ensure that women-led enterprises are not only trained, but positioned to access contracts, scale their businesses, and create employment.
The keynote address was delivered by the Director General of the Federal Bureau of Public Procurement, Dr. Adebowale Adedokun. He stressed that the policy would strengthen transparency, equity, and sustainable development, particularly highlighting the transformative impact for persons with disabilities.
During her service year, she enrolled in a vocational course where she learned beads making and fashion designing. She has given her time to fashion designing. How do you relate with your customers?
If I get a style that I know, not just the style alone, when you're bringing a style, I look at your body shape. If your body shape is not going to fit into that dress, and then you want it to be like the person that's wearing it on the catalog, I'll tell you the truth. It won't fit. And if you insist, I'll tell you I can't do it. That's the truth. It's better they know the truth. There are people who like the truth. Tell them the truth. It's not just about the money.
There's always that one bad day. Have you encountered that one bad day?
Yes. Yes. And then she taught me a very big lesson. The problem, I don't know what happened. Will I say I lost my confidence while making that dress? And then I made a lot of mistakes. Because when she brought it in, she said, ha! She was just saying plenty things. All these troublesome people. And that was her first time. I felt really bad that it didn't turn out well. If I make dress of her, I'm extra careful.
Sewing and hair is a very lucrative business, right? How much do you charge for your clothing?
2,000 and above, depending on your style. You know, we have people that no matter how the price you tell them, they still want the price. So if I see you and I see that you are that kind of person, I will not tell you the exact price, so that you are the one that will price to that people. Okay, make this dress for you 2,500. When you show me the style, I'm going to tell you that it's 4,000 naira. Okay. You now bargain to the point at which I'll be.
Okay, one, she's my neighbor, and I've seen her works before. Her works are very perfect, and this is not the first time she's making a dress for me. So I think she'll continue to be my designer because she's very good in what she does.
I'm sure you're all aware that there's a commission in Nigeria about those with disability by law. So now we are bringing them into the ecosystem. By the way, you see, public procurement is an enabler, is the fulcrum of how to get everybody into the system. If BPP plays his role, which you are now playing, all we need to do is to put necessary guidelines and policy to force government agencies and institutions to comply. Failure to do it is also a failure to comply with the legal provision, which is also jailable. For the first time, we will be putting into tender documents provisions for every government agencies to allocate a certain percentage for this group of people. That's how it's going to work. So you are not going to be begging. I hope I'm communicating. The era of going to go to offices to beg. By this bidding document, it will be a thing of the past, and it will be done electronically. By doing this, we're going to enter into the global space where Nigeria becomes compliant, and then direct investments will become even much easier and faster, because no country in the world looks down on this group.
When you come to Olympics, it's only PWDs that bring medals to this country. For some years now, Olympics is only PWDs, even all African games and other international games. It's only PWDs that bring medal. But these people are not really taken care of. Most of them fight for themselves. They take themselves to the height where they are, which is not good. It is only when you've gone for the festival, for the competition, and you come back, maybe the state or the country will want to recognize you. It's not really good to us. When it comes to the business, I love doing something. I don't like going to the road, asking for hands up and down. At times I meet people, I ask them for assistance. Like this business, someone helped me. When I talk to them, I talk to the person said, okay, what do I really want to do? I said, I learned pastries. I went to catering school. I learned pastries and other things. So the person said, what can I do now? I said, I want to have a mini supermarket. He said, no, he cannot afford that now. I said, okay, let me just have, even if it is a table setup. He said, okay. And he gave me money. That was how I started. You know, I was looking forward to a day that I would talk to the public and air my grievances, and then, you know, tell the world how we, the PWDs, are suffering, that they should come to our aid. I pray this opportunity will bring a good success. Thank you very much for bringing me here.
TerraCube is available in beef, chicken, jollof and crayfish flavors in 50 cubes Saver Pack and 100 cubes Super Saver Pack.
TerraCube. Unwrap joy. Unleash taste.
The first panel session brought together experts who examined the structural barriers facing women-led enterprises and explored actionable solutions within public procurement systems. Discussions centered on access to contracts, financial literacy, compliance support, and capacity building.
Now that we have a policy on our hands, we're looking at implementation, we're advising people to position, strengthen their structures, but these things do cost money. How do women who are in the nascent stages of their businesses able to aspire to this?
Capacity training, sensitization creation is what we want. It's a tool for bridging the gap. There's need for the information to be put out there. There's need for hands-holding, mentorship, training to enable these otherwise marginalized groups to step up to fill the gap. To fill that gap is what we're trying to do using the policy, and the powers enshrined in the Public Procurement Act drives compliance to all stakeholders to ensure that this gap is bridged and bridged quickly through capacity training and sensitization.
A goodwill message from the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs reinforced government's commitment to gender-responsive policies. The minister described the initiative as a milestone in closing economic gaps and accelerating women's participation in national development. The second panel session deepened the conversation, focusing specifically on the importance of affirmative procurement for persons with disabilities. Panelists underscored accessibility, representation, and equitable bidding opportunities as key pillars of the proposed policy.
How can inclusive procurement drive employment opportunities for persons with disabilities beyond ownership to workforce inclusion, particularly again, taking it into consideration that our traditional trajectory has been to neglect these people, not even looking at them as economically vibrant demography.
So in terms of workforce, for persons with disability, especially as it relates to, say, procurement and all of that, so we are saying not just persons with disabilities being owners of businesses, but being part of the workforce. First, we have to understand from just what you said that there's a lot of discrimination and low representation across all sectors. We do not have enough data for disability inclusion in Nigeria. Organizations like mine are just beginning to create that sort of data. So, but I can tell you, using the UN numbers, that about 15% of Nigerians are persons living with disabilities. Someone said 5% of procurement goes to women. Now think of how many of that goes to persons with disabilities that are women, right? But I think that one of the things we can do, since the Disability Act mandates that 5% of employment be reserved for persons with disabilities, that's a good starting point. It means that in all of the procurement policy, in all of the implementation of procurement across all states, we can ensure or enforce that every organization that is implementing any procurement by themselves have part of their workforce at least 5% persons with disability. It's like the way the government is going about the tax implementation. It means that you want to benefit from any government, opportunity. They ask you, are you tax compliant? How about if any organization, any parastatal wants to implement a government, procurement? How about if we ask them, are you disability inclusive? Do you have 5% of your employment as persons with disability? That helps us to create numerous opportunities for persons with disability within the workforce, because we know that persons with disabilities can work, right? My organization work in bridging the gap between the demand and supply of talent with disabilities, and we know there are many persons with disabilities who can. That would help us increase the amount of persons with disability that we have in the workforce.
A mentor, because I don't have money to empower some of them, but with my knowledge that I have, if some people can listen to me, even if it's 10,000 that you used to do be your business, you will survive. But some of them will not listen to me. It's not some of them, they will not even listen to me, because they will be like, who is she? Because right now that is what they say. Who am I? Because I don't used to go outside for begging. I say, who is she that says you will be one now? That is what they say. Someday we will be one. Every day we must go outside together.
But with the media like you can help us. Changing of mentality doesn't happen in a jiffy. It takes years. But one most important thing is that we have to start from somewhere. Once we start going. Before you know, we have been able to do the issues of disability inclusion. And also not just disability inclusion, changing the mentality of the people. Because that is the area that needs a lot of overhaul. Because many of us are from the community, I keep saying it, and the community has affected us in different ways. We think according to the construct of where we are coming from. So, but with the media like you can help us. Changing of mentality doesn't happen in a jiffy. It takes years. But one most important thing is that we have to start from somewhere. Once we start going. Before you know, we have been able to do it. That's why we are here today.
Persons with disability who find themselves in the situation that I am is just do your best. You cannot do small and go and sleep. Because number one, for a person with disability, you need to change so many mentalities. And for you to change these mentalities, you need to be the mentality of who you want people to be. That is just it. You need to be the change that you want other people to be, to change. So you need to replicate the change in you. You need to work very, very hard. I work so hard because I want people to see that I do not have this disability.
For the parents of person with disability, you see some of them like this, is their parent that used to put them for this kind of life for begging. Yes. If you get children with disability, child with disability, just teach her the way she will survive, or just show her the way that she will be doing some business or some skill like that.
The room echoed with thoughtful contributions, practical recommendations, and a shared determination to turn policy into measurable impact. As the forum drew to a close, participants were reminded that advocacy must translate into implementation. The event concluded with renewed commitment from stakeholders to champion inclusive procurement practices nationwide.
At this time, we don't have any persons with disabilities, but it's something that we're looking into it as accommodating. We're not that new. We've been, like I said, 2021. We're still working on improving the programs at the stage where we know that we're ready, because it's not just accommodating them. We need to make sure that we can attend to any needs that they may have, and that the program will be conducive for them. But it's something, of course, that we're very much open to doing and will happen in the near future.
The good thing about the affirmative policy on procurement that will soon be passed, the benefit for persons with disabilities is given a chance to ensure that all procurement opportunities are inclusive and that persons with disabilities can make use of that opportunity. And that provision is essential, which means that there's a quota that is reserved for persons with disabilities or vulnerable people to take to participate in, and then secondly to ensure that all of the processes for procurement are inclusive. So that means persons with disabilities can also make use of that opportunity that exists. It's no longer something that is reserved for only a few, but everyone can participate in that.
One of the engineers that I have, I dare say one of the most brilliant engineers that I have, a lady as well, is currently living with a disability. She's someone that has some special needs, and she has contributed immensely. If we were to put a veil, in selecting engineers, you have no idea that she's going through what she's going through. But I can assure you that the fact that she's living with disability does not mean that she was not able to contribute both in the office and even on site. She actually ran a project by herself and she delivered excellently.
Gender on the Tender was more than a forum. It was a movement toward economic justice. As Nigeria moves closer to adopting the national policy on affirmative procurement, one message remains clear. Inclusive growth is not optional. It is essential, because when women, youths, persons with disabilities, and the elderly are empowered, the nation prospers.
Thank you so much, Adiola, for putting all that together for Against All Odds. It's very important for us to note that persons with disabilities are equally very hardworking. As we saw, of course, in that report, we have persons with disabilities who are running their business, and they're running it very well. Look at this tree. It didn't grow in one day. It started with a planting stage, and then it was planted, and it's growing, and it hasn't finished growing. It will still grow, but we need to water it to make sure it stays alive. When you make policies, you include persons with disabilities in these policies. You execute them, and then you allow them to show themselves. Very important. And so with this move, I'm sure every organization, governmental, non-governmental, private, public, will also take this bold step and begin to make policies with persons with disabilities in mind. You know what the CEO said? She said no person with disabilities is actually present here, but we're making plans. The next time we will also invite them. That's because it's a preparatory stage. So thank you for organizing, and thank you for having persons with disabilities in mind. Thank you for also staying with us on this program Against All Odds. We'll do this again, same time next week. Think disability. When you're building your policies, include them. Take care and have a fantastic week ahead. We love you. Bye-bye.
Audio